In 1324, a king crossed the Sahara. With so much gold, he destabilized entire economies. Empires rise, legends fall, but history never disappears. This is Time Chronicles. In the year 1324, a golden caravan crossed the Sahara Desert. It stretched so far across the sand that travelers said it looked like a moving city. Thousands of men marched beneath the burning sun. Camels carried enormous loads wrapped in cloth. Inside those bundles was gold. So much gold that entire kingdoms would never see that amount in a lifetime. At the center of this procession rode a ruler from West Africa. His name was Mansa Musa, and by the time his journey was over, he would change economies across North Africa and the Middle East. But how did a king from Mali become the richest man in human history? To understand Mansa Musa, we must first understand the world he ruled. In the 14th century, global trade was expanding rapidly. Europe craved gold. The Middle East demanded it. Gold was the backbone of currency. It symbolized power, stability, and divine authority. And West Africa controlled much of it. The Mali Empire sat on some of the richest gold mines in the world. Through the trans-Saharan trade routes, gold flowed north, while salt, textiles, and luxury goods flowed south. By the early 1300s, Mali had become one of the most powerful empires on earth. Mansa Musa did not create this empire from nothing. He inherited it. But what he did with it would elevate its name beyond imagination. Musa became ruler after his predecessor reportedly embarked on a naval expedition into the Atlantic Ocean and never returned. With the throne now his, Musa began consolidating power. He strengthened administration. He expanded trade. He secured borders. Under his rule, Mali's territory stretched across modern-day Mali, Senegal, Niger, Guinea, and parts of Nigeria. The empire thrived. But in 1324, Musa decided to make a journey that would immortalize his name. As a devout Muslim, he planned to complete the pilgrimage to Mecca, known as the Hajj. For most believers, this was a sacred spiritual duty. For Mansa Musa, it would also become a demonstration of unimaginable wealth. Caravan included around 60,000 people. 12,000 servants wore fine silk. 80 camels carried hundreds of pounds of gold each. Officials, soldiers, scholars, and attendants traveled with him. When the caravan reached Cairo, the world began to take notice. Musa distributed gold generously. He gave to the poor. He rewarded officials. He purchased goods at extravagant prices. Gold flowed through the markets like water. At first, it seemed like a blessing, but something unexpected happened. The sudden surge of gold in circulation caused inflation. The value of gold dropped sharply. Prices rose. Economies destabilized. Historians estimate that the economic disruption lasted for over a decade. A single man had shifted regional markets. That was the scale of his wealth. But Mansa Musa was more than a walking treasury. During his pilgrimage, he encountered scholars, architects, and intellectuals. He invited many of them back to Mali. Upon returning home, he invested heavily in education and architecture. He transformed Timbuktu into a center of knowledge. The famous Sankore University flourished under his patronage. Libraries expanded. Manuscripts multiplied. Scholars traveled from across the Islamic world to study there. Mali became not only wealthy but intellectually powerful. For a time, it was one of the most advanced societies on earth. European maps from the 14th century even depicted a crowned African king holding a golden nugget. That king was Mansa Musa. His image traveled farther than he ever did. And yet, centuries later, many history books barely mention him. Why? Because narratives shift, power shifts, empires fall. After his death, Mali gradually weakened. Internal conflicts and external pressures reduced its dominance. Eventually, the Songhai Empire would rise from its shadow. But the legend of Mansa Musa remained. Modern economists attempt to calculate his net worth in today's currency. Some estimates place it at hundreds of billions of dollars. But perhaps the more important question is this: what does his story represent? It challenges the idea that wealth and civilization were centered only in Europe or Asia. It reminds us that Africa housed empires of extraordinary sophistication and prosperity, long before colonial borders were drawn. Before foreign powers divided the continent, Africa produced leaders who influenced global economies. Mansa Musa was not just rich. He was a symbol of an era when West Africa stood at the center of global trade. and his golden caravan still echoes across the sands of history. In the next episode, we will explore the exiled prince who laid the foundation for this empire, the warrior whose story inspired legends. If you want to uncover more forgotten African history, subscribe and join this journey into the past.